Dale Williams, Park Williams Homes, and I just want to talk about some of the features that we're going to build into the homes. I talked earlier video, if you haven't seen it, basically what I was saying was we're going to bring to the table a lot of quality, and the way to do that is reduce square footage. So what we're going to be building into our homes are features that will, even though their size might not be like these huge homes that are McMansions, as they're being called, we're not aiming for that. What's going to make them something, that's going to work for your family. So what we're looking at is floor plans, and we look at them extremely carefully. The floor plans have to bring to the table beauty, comfort, livability, and they have to be practical. At a certain point, all the bling-bling home in the world is not going to do you a lot of good if it's not functional. We built a home that was probably more for, I guess, show than for go. And, people came in and their heads automatically turned up and they looked at these huge vaulted ceilings and beams and all the stuff that go with those, really fancy high-end type finishing. But from the practicality and livability, it was, there were rooms you just kind of didn't feel comfortable in. They showed great, they walked through great, but this is one thing we're going to ask you to do when you look through our homes, is to stop and think about actually living there. Not just think about, oh gee, so-and-so is going to be so impressed when you see us owning this home, wow, which there's nothing wrong with that, but I think the glitter will disappear pretty quickly if you move into a home like that, as I know it did for us. All those fancy high ceilings and all that. A lot of it sacrificed the practicality and the livability of that space. So some good examples of being practical is we're going to have things like mudrooms. Zoned spaces or zones. So what we're speaking of with mudrooms is essentially it's going back full circle. It's the way homes used to be designed. Why they ever departed from them, who knows? I guess just trying to do something different, the new tide or whatever. But mudrooms are going to be a big part of our the features of our homes. Just from the standpoint, you come in, your hands are full of keys and cell phones and whatever else you might have in your hand. You're going to find mudrooms very convenient in our homes and organized very well with a lot of built-in furniture. And that's another aspect here will be built-ins. You'll find a lot of built-ins in our floor plans. Again, going back to probably what many people would consider classic architecture. The built-ins, the mudrooms, those have been around for years, have been proven for years, and something that we plan to feature, even though these probably won't, bling as, say, that example of that high fancy vaulted ceiling and all the costs associated with that. We hope you'll realize that when you actually move into that home, and it's not just a show home anymore, it's something that, you're living there, it's going to do a lot of practical things for you. The zones, I'm referring to usage zones. So many homes today, there's this love affair with open floor plans, which is great. We've taken over older properties, and one of the first things we had to do was cut out a wall and create an open floor plan just to give you some feeling of connection between the spaces. But that can go too far too, and it can start taking away your livability if you're not careful. So you're going to find things that are zones. What Sarah calls, Sarah Suzanka, she's the author of the Not So Big series of architectural books, and what she calls an away room. And I don't think there's any trademark or patent on that word, so we'll probably be using the same word, the away room. So essentially, a quick example would be, say, a living space. You've got your living space, and there might be this living room in the old-fashioned jargon. What we'll actually be calling that is the away room. Because what it will allow you to do is you might have a party going on here, or the noise of cooking, or say appliances running, and our away rooms will will actually allow you to shut off and isolate yourself and create these zones of usage. So even though it's a smaller space, you can get multi-usage without tripping over each other, or without hearing each other and driving each other crazy, which can happen on the real open floor plans. Like if this was an open floor plan, the TV blasting here, all those sounds, and then you'd have, say, the dishwasher running here, or what have you, the appliance, the blender, something noisy, and then the TV would get turned up, and then, the yelling starts, turn that down, or blah, 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 and that's the downside of these really open floor plans that aren't thought through, and okay, how does this actually work when the TV's running and that blender's running, and how do you not drive each other crazy? So we give a ton of thought to that, and we call it our zones. And so that's the livability that relates to everything I've just talked about here. You need a home you can live in. You need that connection. You want to feel together as a family. So you don't want all these little rooms like they used to do in Grandma's and Grandpa's day, where they stuff a kitchen way in the back of the house because that was, kind of where you hacked vegetables and cooked on the old wood stove kind of thing. So you still want the connection, but you still need, you need your time, you need your space, and especially when you have sound and other things of our electronic world. This could be a video game, with all the blasting that goes on with those kind of games. So the livability, comfort, I think we're going classic, I guess, be a way of describing how we're going to achieve comfort. We're going to have things like breakfast nooks, built-in bench seating. We're going to be looking at window seats that may be beyond a window seat, depending on the particular home plan you're looking at. They might also include some sleeping arrangement. So your son or your daughter has, a friend over, rather than having to scramble and, pull in cots or, make some kind of makeshift arrangement like that, you'll have a built-in comfort zone for that guest where they can just cuddle right up and have a nice visit, and it's built right in. So, and again, that goes back to our square footage, because when you have that, say you have that spare bedroom or that cot that folds up, even though it folds up, you probably have to take that and store it somewhere, which is using square footage, and hence the need for these bigger square footages that we have. But if you start thinking through and building in things that have multi-functions, multi-use, you don't have to store that anymore. You don't even need it anymore. And that's green too. When you really look at it from a consumerism standpoint, we just buy so much stuff. So we're going to be building in things that have a lot of use to them, and livability, practical, and comfort, and they're going to make that smaller space function like a much larger space. Beauty, we're not going to forget beauty. What's the point of having a home that isn't, a bit of an architectural masterpiece? We're definitely aiming for that, and we hope to be able to achieve it. So I'll talk a bit more on further videos, but hopefully that gives you an idea of some of the features we're building in. Thank you.